Hey guys, and welcome to Backstage Buzz. Today we're going to talk to the Scarborough Theatre Guild about Cripple of Inishmaan by Martin McDonagh. We've got on the phone Darlene Thomas, who's the producer, Jeremy Hansen, who's the director, and Connor Cook, who plays the lead of Cripple, Billy Clavin. Welcome to Backstage Buzz, guys. How are you?
Hi.
Okay, very well. Good to be on the phone.
Good to have you. So tell me a bit about the Cripple of Inishmaan.
Well, if I could start, Mark, Cripple of Inishmaan was first written in 1996 and was produced at the National Theatre in London by an up-and-coming playwright called Martin McDonagh. He started off basically trying to write radio plays. He submitted 200 of them to the BBC, all of which were rejected. He then decided he would try his hand at writing stage plays. So The Cripple of Inishmaan is one of two trilogies that he made about the Aran Isles of the west coast of Ireland, off the Connemara coast in Galway Bay. And this one is about, takes place in 1934 and chronicles the life of villagers in that time period, where the neighboring island was inhabited by a movie crew that came to audition for a film they were going to make about the Aran Isles, and it actually exists, and we're actually going to be screening part of that film in our play. But this is all, that's the only basis in truth. The rest is all fictional, but it has very colorful characters, very colorful language, but it covers some really important topics, especially about those with physical disabilities, and it chronicles Billy's journey. He goes to Hollywood, California, to be in part of the film, but he misses home so much he has to come back. But he suffers from incredible isolation, loneliness, ostracization, and physical and mental abuse.
Wow, it sounds like a very deep story. I did read when I was doing some research on the play that it is considered a dark comedy. Would that be correct?
That's very correct, yeah. Martin McDonagh's style is, and I don't know if you saw the movie a couple of years ago called Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
I did, absolutely did. Well,
you'll know that there's tremendous comedy and almost in the same breath, horrific violence, and that is his style. And it was fair to say that he honed his craft on stage plays and then went on to become an extremely successful and sought-out director. And, of course, the Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri was nominated for 3 Oscars, and it won 2.
Absolutely, that is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I did see that movie, and it was great. And like you said, there is definitely some dark humor in Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. So this sounds very captivating, actually. This story of the Cripple of Inishmaan. So we have Connor as well. Connor plays the cripple, Billy Clavin, correct?
Yes,
and you have to
yes, I do.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. So tell me a bit about the character, Connor.
Yeah, so the character has cerebral palsy. We're going with called mixed version of cerebral palsy. So his right leg is stuck in a sort of inward prone position, and he doesn't have very much use of his left arm.
Okay.
But other than that, he's a bright kid. He reads obsessively. He takes pride in his knowledge. He's most importantly, he wants to escape. I think he's very, very isolated, very, very bullied. He's had, a lot of bad experiences in his community. He is an orphan as well. That's right. So his parents were drowned in a boating, what they think is a boating accident. He doesn't actually know the true story, and nobody really wants to tell him.
And we're not going to tell you now.
Yeah,
I don't want you to.
A little bit of a mystery there, but his parents are not in the picture. He lives with his aunties. They aren't actually his aunties, but they're 2 women that were kind enough to take him in and raise him. Yes, and so the show is very much a love story in the same regard.
Okay.
There is a young girl, but about the same age as him, or a little bit younger, named Helen, who he is, shall we say, a little bit infatuated with. Whether or not she shares similar feelings remains to be seen, but that's definitely a goal in mind. I think one of the main themes of the show for sure.
And how old is Billy?
Billy Clavin is between 17 and 18 years old.
Okay, great.
We're going with 18 just because I'm on the other side. I'm 25 now, so
no worries, absolutely. Sometimes you have to do what you got to do, right? So
exactly, and that's the case with all the younger people. We have 3 young people in it, all of whom are over the age of 20, but they pass for considerably younger, and it's the way they act that gets that message across as well.
Absolutely, that's fabulous.
I think they're all doing a fabulous job, and I'm so thrilled to be working with such a talented group. And they're all amateurs, they're all volunteers, so they're doing it just for the love of it.
Excellent. And Connor, if you could tell me, so how do you prepare for a role such as this, where you're playing somebody with cerebral palsy, and has had many hardships over his lifetime?
Well, so it's a lot of sense memory, reaching in, trying to find. Obviously, I don't have cerebral palsy myself, but trying to find moments in my life where I have been ostracized or felt ostracized. Or bullied, and really trying to latch on to that. In terms of the CP, I try not to make it. I watched a lot of videos and interviews with people that have CP and did some reading as well. And the very important thing that a lot of them like to stress is that it doesn't define them.
Right.
So I try to not let it define his personality so much. It's more of just an aspect of his appearance, and obviously limitations and the physicality of how he moves.
Right, but, that makes sense. That's wonderful.
Yeah, but so very much, he's capable of doing most normal things. He can move around pretty good. He shuffles a little bit, but he can move at a decent speed and makes use of his good arm. And I watched a couple of YouTube videos to find a more accurate physical representation of it. It was very important not to appear like a parody or go too over the top, which you imagine that you could easily do that.
Absolutely.
So just try and keep it very grounded, and then lots of stretching and ankle exercises and stuff to try and prevent myself from getting hurt or pulling any muscles and stuff for the positions that I have to put my body in. So
fabulous. That sounds great. Sounds like a very very challenging role. So Darlene, tell me what it's. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the most challenging role I've had so far, for sure.
Excellent. Yeah, I like those roles. Those are great, meaty roles, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, Darlene, you're producer of this show. Tell me what it's like to produce a show like this, and also, if you wouldn't mind, could you tell me a bit about the Scarborough Theatre Guild?
So this is actually my second production that I'm producing by myself, and this is actually the first one that's huge. And we had, a lot of people come out to audition for it. And it was actually a really hard decision because there was so many great auditions. It was 3 days of 3 days of auditions with callbacks. There was about 30 people that came out, and there's about 9 characters. They're all fantastic. I come in once a week just to check in on them, and it's just the progress that they've made. It's fantastic. We have Erin, who's actually an assistant director, and she's been warming them up like every night, and it's fantastic to see their how well they mesh together, and they're bonding. So I'm so impressed with them.
Fantastic.
And this production, it's fantastic. And, all the work, Jeremy and Aaron and Teresa, who's our stage manager, have done with them. There's 3 of them that are actually like pure Irish. And so Jeremy has split them up. And so they have, their dialect coaches with, the rest of the cast that is not familiar with the accent. So, when, Jeremy's running a scene, he'll kind of put them in different areas of the unit, and, they're working with them with their accents, and they're fantastic.
Fantastic.
Can't wait for you to come see it. Yeah.
Definitely. So Scarborough Theatre Guild, and tell me a little bit about the Scarborough Theatre Guild.
We're in 61st year right now, and this is the second production of 4. So it runs January 10th to the 23rd 3rd, I think. Yeah, it's the 23rd. Yeah, so, I mean...
Fantastic.
It's a great play.
That sounds great.
And, of course, we are in a press stage.
Yes.
So, it's very challenging with, the volume and the blocking, but, Jeremy's been working with them, so I'm sure, once we actually move into the theater, which is this coming Sunday, we're going to have to, make some changes and what have you. So that'll be interesting once we actually get in, and wait until you see the set. The set is massive.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all that information. And the tickets are how much?
Mark, if I can just chime in, tickets are $24 for adults, and then $20 for seniors and students.
Okay.
We do have some matinee performances as well, which I believe on the Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly the schedule. Oh, sorry, on Sundays. But I should also point out that this play was revived in 2006. 2015, pardon me, 2014, 2015, and was revived in London, and then it moved. The same production, a totally new production, was transferred to Broadway with Daniel Radcliffe playing the lead of Cripple Billy, and it was up for 5 Tony Awards.
Oh, fantastic!
So it's got some legs, and it's achieved a bit of a cult status, to be honest with you. So I saw a production of it over nearly 12 years ago in Vancouver at the Granville Street Theatre. I was so impressed by the play, and then I was moved by seeing a guy who had terrible physical disability on the ferry going from Tawasin over to Victoria, and I thought one day I'd like to do this play and do justice and show that, as Connor so rightly said, that a disability like that does not define the person that has the disability.
That is so true. Absolutely. 100%. That's fantastic. Well, it definitely sounds like a very moving, very funny, very interesting show to come see. I'll definitely have to come and see it. And you said it runs January 10th to the 23rd or 24th?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
And tickets are $24 for adults and $20 for seniors, so that's great. So I thank you so much, guys, for coming on. I really look forward, and I encourage all my viewers to go out and see the Cripple of Inishmaan at Scarborough Theatre Guild, running January 10th to January 24th of 2020.
And Mark, just to let you know, that's part of the 3 companies that work out of Theatre Scarborough, which is at the corner of Kingston Road and Markham Road in Scarborough.
Perfect. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys. I appreciate you guys for coming on the show and giving some information about the this interesting production of The Cripple of Inishmaan.
Pleasure. Thanks very much for having us on.
No worries. Break some legs, guys, and hopefully I get to see the show, and we will see you then.
We'd love to have you. Cheers.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Mark. Bye.
Bye-bye. Until next time, guys, if you like the show and you like what you see on this show, please do hit the like button and do subscribe and get buzzed. Until then, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.